What's up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new exciting live stream. This is actually an exclusive, and it's a first off from Propel doing a live interview talking about the range of different products that they have and about stuff that's coming up really, really soon. My name's Tom, and today we're going to be talking to the team behind Propel EV and see what they are up to. So with a big warm welcome, and just before we get started, thank you for your patience because we did have a little bit of technical difficulties today, but we're all good now, and we'll bring in Jarvin from Propel. So first of all, welcome Jarvin to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here, and I am very thankful for you taking part on my channel for the first time. Is it the first time for you to doing this?
Yeah, this is first time for me. Hi everyone. Hi Thomas. Yeah, I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Could you just give us a little bit of a backstory about yourself, your role within Propel, and how long has this journey been for you?
Okay, I'm Javin. I'm the owner of Propel. We have Propel have built for 6 years since 2019. So
Yep.
We have spent the past 6 years develop different electric skateboard. You can see all the from X4S, now it's X4R, the Endeavor, the Ruckus, the Pivot, and the Sigma.
So it's been a very long journey. So 6 years in development. One thing I think I spoke to you about this at eSkateCon is I remember my first ever go on a Propel, which was the Propel 4GS. And I've still got some of the footage here. So let me just bring this up here. So this was my first ever go on a Propel, which was the original back in the day, the big boy, the full, it's 4S off-road build. And this thing was absolutely crazy, so unique, so different, and yeah, for a first board it was very, very different. So was that the first board that you guys ever created? Because that was my first time I'd ever ridden one of your products.
Yes, this is our first board, and this board we have spent a lot of time on it. X4S is the most complicated board, and it's more like a vehicle. It's not a board. All the structure is coming from the car, the off-road vehicle. The independent suspension, the chassis, it's a mini chassis of off-road beast. Yeah, just for the, yeah.
So, Gordon, as you were saying, Jarvin?
What?
So for me, for a first board, I'm just going to pause it here 1 second. There's a lot of complex parts for a very first board. Like, I think we spoke before we went on to the live stream about Propel having this vision of not just copying and making the same thing again and again, which we've seen in the electric skateboard community, having a product that is very successful and then changing very small things and making it your own. I think you said to me the vision for Propel is making something that the customer wants and that is unique to Propel.
Yes, just because I can from the very beginning, we are a group of people coming from the auto industry. We develop car. So from the very beginning, we take the board. We never think electric skateboard is belong to skateboard. It's another category. It's more like a vehicle, a mini vehicle. That is the best platform for a mini vehicle, a lightweight vehicle. So it's yes, battery, motor, controller, and the structure all similar to the vehicle. So for X4S, when we develop this, we take it as a vehicle. All the motivation relationship is more like a vehicle. The calculate is based on our experience of the vehicle. Yeah, you can see that.
It was really interesting to see all the small movements and the complexity of the board. And one thing that surprised me when I tried that board, the first one, obviously this is the new X4R, but surprisingly for such a large off-road board, and I think vehicle is a very good approach, it's surprisingly agile for such a large electric vehicle.
Yeah, it's because how we define this product, because for X4S, X4R is off-road based, so it's how to say, the possibility about all different terrain. The ground clearance need to be high, and in different terrain you need to be stable. And when you in a narrow path, you need to avoid rocks, roots. You need to flex. You need to control it very flex. You cannot like a boat. You need to nimble like this.
Exactly.
So that's about the definition of this X4R. So we need to make it come true. That's why it's more, we call it flex in the off-road, and also the off-road stability is very important for X4R.
One thing I noticed as well, I actually didn't share this in my original coverage of this board the first time, is I actually hit a tree with your electric skateboard, and I thought, surprisingly, with the, let me bring this back up for my example. So with these hangers on the trucks where they move, I hit that with a tree really quite hard, and it was still strong enough to hold that shape, because it looks quite thin, but it is very, very strong as well. And another thing I noticed from riding the board is with the suspension, I was able to feel very soft and controlled on off-road build, so I wasn't getting tired because the suspension was doing that for me. My legs were not getting tired, so the suspension helps you ride longer, I seem to find.
Yes, that's about the strength of this skateboard. You know, we try to we try our best to reduce the weight to make it thin, but we add the strength by structure strength. So also we have considered the different impact from the front, from the side, from a single view, different direction, different impact on the view, on the chase. We have do a lot of experiment, including hitting on the run, on the wall. I can send you the video. We made a broad just for hitting different parts. and what we want to know, which parts is the weakest parts in the whole product, in different the roll, when you roll from the hill, when you hit on the tree with a single wheel, when you hit on the wall, both wheel will hit on the wall, what will happen? We have tried all this. I can share you the video. Yeah, it's about 6 years ago.
It's quite interesting that, and would you say, because I find with these interviews, the thing that excites me the most is the journey on how do we get to the final product. So you saying to me that with the Propel's team, experience in motor vehicles, that's the same things you would do with cars, wouldn't you? So having that kind of experience, you can bring that into electric skateboarding as well.
Sorry, I didn't hear. I didn't hear
that.
Okay.
Yeah, my question was, you okay?
Oh wait, Russ is joining us, but
yeah,
he has no sound.
Yeah, Russ is here. I was going to bring him in a second, but I'll bring him in now. So I didn't know if he could see me in private chat. So we actually have a second member of Propel's team, and I'll bring him in now. We have Russ as well. Welcome to the live stream, Russ.
Sorry, I'm a little late.
It's fine. It's all good. Do you want to give us a brief introduction, Russ, your role within the Propel team and your journey of joining Propel, please?
Sure. I've been with Propel 5 years now, since we rebranded to Propel from Cycle Eagle. I mainly handle customer service, some of the social media, and some input on design. And I just wanted to get back to the question that you were asking, Javin. But one of our lead engineer was actually in the automotive business. He was a designer with BMW. So that's why you see a lot of automotive tech in our products. It carries over because that's what he knows. He was a good friend of Javin's before we started the company, or before he started the company. But that's where the automotive input comes from, and we love it. I mean, I like the way these guys think.
It's definitely a unique perspective on the evolution of our products as well. And I do feel like, especially, we have got some companies in the eSkate scene that are doing some kind of off-road build, but that's kind of it. That's all they do. So I do feel like there's a range of scope. And that's one thing Javin wanted to say as well about the different products, is there's a different board for different purposes as well. So I just want to segue on to one thing that really caught my eye. When I came over to the States, I stayed with Julia. The Propel Ruckus is one of my most favorite boards I rode last year. So I just want to highlight that a little bit, because I feel like I don't often get on a product and then go that this board is complete as a product. There's nothing I could literally think of as a reviewer that board specifically has. So, and the price point of it is unbelievable. You got CSC trucks, you got the hubs. That's kind of, I can imagine in the automotive industry, this kind of board is kind of your day-to-day commuter. Is that kind of where this board sits in the community?
Yeah, when we first came out with Ruckus, we were really trying to build a street board that was just super stable at higher speeds. Wobbles are always been a big thing. So the engineers developed the ADT system, to dampen any of the energy that brings on a speed wobble. There were a lot of things that people loved about it, and there were some things that people didn't like about it. Some people found it a little too hard to dial in. You kind of have to know yourself, know your style, know what you like. And it does take a little while to find a few different presets that really hit your sweet spots for what you do. But there were things about the board that they absolutely loved. That deck, I think, is just phenomenal. I mean, so many people, they step on it and it just locks you right in. And they love that deck. So, Javin had the idea of spreading the line out a little bit more, and we offered a TKP version. And that was a great hit as well. And a lot of people got the things that they liked about Ruckus without having to take the time to dial in, the ADT system and deal with all that. Again, some guys love it. They love having the versatility of being able to go high or low on different settings, front or back, things like that. But some people just like to step on and go. And then for the third one, what we did this is the one that was new at eSkate Con this year, is we brought a hybrid, which has a TKP in the rear and the ADT in the front. I'm not sure. I think you were riding the TKP on the group ride, one, the white one, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the three Ruckus models, in short. But that board was originally designed to be, more towards a street board that could handle dirt trails, but not, like an Endeavor would or an X4R, obviously.
Definitely, and I think that I'm going to bring it to Javin in a second here. I feel like Propel specifically listens to the customer's feedback and gives those options to the customer as well. I think, Russ, you put in a good point where some people don't want to dial in the board, some people just want to grab and go, and some people want that bit of both. And is that just through listening to the customer's feedback and then saying what's suitable for you? So having a hybrid board, you can really pick and choose what you need. Was that kind of the goal with listening to the customer's feedback on making products better?
Well, one thing that really stands out about Propel is that we've always made it a point to listen to our riders in all aspects. We count on our riders to develop new products, to modify products we've already put out. We encourage negative feedback. We encourage all feedback, because we can't make the product better if you don't tell us what you want to make better about it. So yeah, you'll notice on our Facebook page and our social media, we are constantly engaging our customers, asking for their opinions. We'll put up polls, asking for color choices for things like that. But when it comes to the riding, you know, and you get the feedback from the first Ruckus, now that's what brought us out to bring the TKP on. And then now we have the feedback from the 2, and we're like, you know what, there's another sweet spot in there. And then we did the hybrid. But yeah, it's all dependent on customer feedback. We come up with ideas that we know we would like, but we're not the ones buying the boards. So we want to know what you guys want and what we can do better, or what we can do differently. And we literally rely on the customers for that.
Yes, by riders, for riders is our slogan. So most of our boards are coming, the ideas, the requirement is coming from our customer. They give us a lot of feedback. They give us more requirement. So we consider how to make it come true. The Ruckus is coming after from the pivot. So what we have tried on Ruckus is about the feeling. The feeling is totally different. Most board before Ruckus is about rolling. You step on it, you rolling a stick. But Ruckus is more like a spin. It's like this. So we want to try to make Ruckus riding, the feeling riding more like a spin, snowboard, more like snowboard. You can push, swing like this. So it's totally different feeling. And we have talked about, you know, Russ is American US team. How to say it?
I skied moguls on the US team. Well, back when I was a kid.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about the feeling of skiing. So we want to try to make electric skateboard more fun. The riding feeling is different, and the curve of the deck is more comfortable. So the double drop, also the idea is coming from Russ, from the team, our whole team. So we get the feedback, we tried, and we make it.
I think for me, when I tried the board, I really gave it a lot of time when I was in New York, because when we did, let me bring this back up here, the Broadway bomb, which was like 30-40 miles in a single day, that was a good test for foot fatigue and how my legs would go like after a whole day ride. I had so much fun on that board that day. But we did about 30-40 miles that day, all day riding, true all day riding in different conditions. And I was surprised how thin the wings of the deck were. So there's some grabbing points as well. So you can actually put your hand under and grab the deck, which I thought was really nice. And it has enough flex on it as well to take the, like a bit like with your off-road board, that a little bit of flex gives you a little bit more suspension that the board helps you with. I feel like I had an all-day riding and I didn't feel tired at all from riding that board in a urban environment. I suppose that's what its main home is.
Yeah.
I can share some about the deck, the design of the deck. We have do a lot of experiment about how the deck flex, because most of the flex deck is like this. The most flex part is in the center, but parts under your feet don't move a lot. That part matters a lot about shock absorption. If even the central part jumped up and down, your feet didn't move a bit. So the shock absorption is not good. So what we tried, and the central part, if flex a lot, it will destroy the battery. It's not good for the battery. So we try to make, you can see the central part, we have make a structure to fix it. So the central part don't move a lot, but the both side is like this. So the shock absorption will distribute on the both sides. So it's more shock, is more comfortable, and also keep the battery good. You can see the picture here. It's more like this. How we make it flex, how we control the flex. We have tried different, how to say, the fiber, different carbon fiber in different directions to keep the deck, the both sides only flex up and down, not twist, not twist.
To twist,
yes, not twist, not twist. And because if it twist, it will affect your turning feeling. So we need to, it cannot twist only up and down like this. So we have to do a lot of job on this part.
Definitely. And I think what's nice about where we're at now is, I think I noticed it, so I'm going to ask about it, is you're doing more customization in your products as well. So you're doing different color variants as well. Did you have a set of gold hubs on your desk? I think I just noticed something before you went on to live. That we've got different colored hubs now as well? Is that correct?
Yes.
There they are.
That's the new Daytona hub. That'll come in gold, red, and blue. But we are in purple.
Ooh.
But we are looking at doing customization very soon, and not just like different anodized colored parts, but the customer is going to be able to send us a picture, and we can print it right onto the board. So you can do your own custom graphics on the board that are from the factory.
What?
Yep.
How you have to facilitate so many orders with that customization going forward?
Well, again, that'll be a custom order. That'll ship from China. That wouldn't come from one of the warehouses, so it would take a little longer to get a custom board. But we do want to have that service available to our customers so they can customize their board properly, where it'll stay and it'll look fresh and nice and tight from the factory.
So that would be the deck option going forward. So the deck will be anything you want it to be. Correct.
And well, deck and mostly the battery box would be the underside as opposed to the grip tape.
Right.
But one thing I just wanted to bring out when you said, how do you do that and stuff? I don't know if Javin mentioned it, but we now do all our own carbon fiber manufacturing in-house. We don't rely on other companies to do that. We built our own carbon fiber factory just to address our own personal needs. So when it comes to decks, we can do quite a bit now. And you'll be seeing some cool stuff coming from us in the future, for sure.
That's amazing. So you guys have the whole scope of the product development, so you can manipulate and adapt as the development goes along. So you make something and you can see there's areas that you can develop. You don't need to communicate that with another factory.
Right.
You can apply your own feedback and evolve things going forward. That is a huge investment.
And test it, because you have to remember that Javin himself and our lead tech are both pretty highly decorated engineers in their former fields, and we actually have machines that test the flex and test how much reverb you get from a bump and things like that. So when we build something, we put it on the machines and actually see how it's going to perform before we even put it under somebody's feet to try it. But we can learn a lot just right in the lab before we even bring something out to actually manufacture one to try, so we've been looking towards the future since we started. When when we develop something today, we want it to be around and we want to build off it. That's our goal.
That's amazing. So it really got some good feedback with the customization thing. And I think not alone is the development. I think what I really impressed me with Propel recently is the focus of ensuring that the product is solid before we innovate and customize. So obviously the Ruckus came out, there were some tweaks and changes to give the option between the different truck options. Now that's locked down and that's solid. Now we can progress onto customization because we've got a solid product going forward. So it's always about making a product safe, long lasting, high quality, and then we can start playing with it, and then we can start making it more fun.
And again, that's something that we rely on our customers for. That all comes from customer feedback.
And I think it's really important that you're engaging with those riders as well, because there are some companies out there who just want one direction for the product. And in my opinion, some companies have lost their way with that. And I think, like you say, you do your in-house testing as much as you can do, but then that's only so many people testing a board in all different ways. As soon as the product goes out to the masses, we can get mass feedback. And if you guys are listening to that, then you can make these products even better. And I think it would be a mistake not to take that feedback. So it's great that you guys are focused on taking that feedback. So moving on to the next thing, and I think the scope of Propel is different boards for different purposes is really important. So I just want to go into your new flagship board, which was the Sigma, which I met Jarvin at eSkate Con. I was really impressed in the concept of a board that is designed. One thing I mentioned on my channel is we don't talk about enough is living with a product. And I think a lot of things that are put into this board with the lights, the charging out ports, the weight, the size, and the power is all thought about is how do I interact with my city with this board? So is that kind of been the focus of the board as having something that is designed for the city runner?
Yes, I can say about the Sigma. Sigma is the Propel family, the smallest, the portable one. This is for city ride. So when we define this product, I want a product you can take it easily. You can it's much flexible when you ride even in slow speed, and also it need to be powerful. When you climb a hill, and it need to be long range. You don't have range anxiety. So the battery need to be big. That's how we define this body is a powerful and long range bird. So also it need to look nice, look great, and you're proud to show it on the coffee shop, yeah. When you carry. So that's how we define this bird, and the function for camper, for college, for people
campus,
in the work. They if they don't use those big batteries, they can charge the mobile phone, laptops. That's the function we want to make it convenient for people. And we also consider different size wheel, so we leave enough space for small 88 small wheel for long range. But this long range, if the wheel is hard, it can be long range because energy consumption is small, but it's not comfortable. Some people don't want a long range, but he want comfortable. He can change the wheel to bigger mid wheel, soft wheel, and we consider 88 to 105 millimeter different size wheel for different purpose. So we also consider the space, the turning, or you don't have wheel bite. You have enough flexibility. That's all designed on this board.
When we took that one to the design table, we were looking to fill a couple gaps that we found to be missing in the shorty selection that was out there. you know, obviously with a short board, they have smaller batteries, and that was a big complaint with a lot of people of them. You know, I think a lot of people understand when you get a smaller board, you're going to have a smaller battery. But we wanted to have one of the biggest, if not the biggest, that we could possibly fit, while maintaining comfort and style and things like that. But our main target for this board was the city rider and the college campus student. That's why we have the USB port built in and stuff like that. And we wanted to put a kicktail on it. We took all the input from all the different shorty boards. People want a kicktail, they want a bigger battery, you know, things like that. And we did as much as we could, and then we made it as cool as we could. But the biggest thing about this board is the Palm remote. It's our introduction, bringing the Palm remote to the scene, which is going to be a game changer for people. We basically have a remote now that can maintain all your VESC settings, and we bring them right up into the remote, so you don't have to plug in, learn VESC tool and all that thing to be able to change your parameters. But it's super user friendly in so many ways.
Unnecessarily pretty. This thing, it's unnecessarily pretty. I've been just actually today been going out on the Sigma, giving it a try, but it's just such a refined product immediately. And I think that for me, like I say, living with a product isn't talked about enough in the community. And you can have loads of range, loads of power, but it's very big, it's very heavy. So I think that there's a lot of hidden features about this board, like the USB out to charge your phone, or the remote itself. It's been an absolute crazy situation for me, why we've got electric skateboards that you can't charge other things with. It's insane. I haven't tried it yet, but can you charge your laptop from this board? Yes, you
potentially can. Yes.
No way. That's incredible.
Another cool thing about that USB port is that usually when an item like this has an accessory USB port, it's live all the time. It's hot all the time. The Propel isn't. You turn it on by tapping the board twice on top, and you'll see the light come on the USB. And if nothing's been plugged into the USB for 5 minutes, it shuts off and it no longer drains on your battery. So it's only draining on the battery when it's actually in use, and it's shut off anytime there's something that's not plugged into it.
I think that's a really clever feature, and obviously I didn't realize, and the turn on is amazing. I didn't realize that the way you turn on, it's not a switch, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone's watching. It's a knock. You have to knock on the deck to turn on the charging port. It's such a interesting way of doing it, but then it keeps the board flush, and like you say, having it not always live is another safety feature. I just want to go back to the Palm remote a little bit more detail, because I think this is gorgeous and the quality and the finish on this is great. Let me just go back to Craig Taylor's feature of this, and just 1 second. There we go. And just the clarity of the remote. How does, as a reviewer, I need to obviously do a bit more testing, but how is the battery life on something like this? Obviously, having a full color OLED, I believe it's OLED screen, with the amount of features that this remote has, is the battery life sustainable because of the larger screen? How does that work with battery life with a remote that has such high resolution and a bright screen?
We have tested the energy consumption of you mean the remote battery,
yes.
Right?
Yes, that's right.
We have tested it's about 10 hours. 10 hours normal use of the battery. We choose 1,000 hour battery. Usually is 500 or 600. We make a big battery inside, but in fact, after our testing, the consumption is not very big. In the end, we have a function you can adjust the brightness to. If you worry about it, you can bring down the brightness of the remote, save more energy, last more. Yeah.
So it has that scope to change it, and obviously benefit. Obviously, if you worry even more, you can charge it from the board. And I think what I really like I think one thing that's not talked about with especially electric skateboarding is the community that goes around a product, and how do you interact with that product in your life. So for example, for me, when I was going out on the Sigma today, instead of having my laptop charger, my phone charger, and my skateboard charger, I don't actually necessarily need my skateboard charger. But if I was going out for a weekend, I could take that with me. But ultimately, you don't really need anything besides a cable only now, because your board charges your computer, your phone, with enough voltages where that's reliable. And it saves you taking out more stuff with you, which makes your bags lighter and you interact with the world even easier because you're not carrying extra weight. So I think having something that is designed for a college campus, for a student, where you just take your board, you always going to charge your board to get to class or get to work, and having that board being almost like a lifeline to charge up all your other devices, it just makes so much sense. And I think having that little feature unlocks so much more potential on how you interact with the world. So I think it's a really nice thing to think about.
And it's a nice little tool to meet that girl that's sitting next to you in class whose phone just died.
It's like, no, do you need to charge your phone? Also, I'm a hot skateboarder as well. Amazing. So we're just about just over the halfway point, guys. So if there's any questions you particularly want to ask Propel or the team here, please ask them now, because it's a great opportunity to ask those questions going forward. So I'm going to squeeze a little bit here now, not too much. Is there any up and coming goals for Propel? You said obviously a little bit more about carbon fiber decks. Is there any other, what's the kind of goal or the direction that Propel may be looking in next? Obviously you've got the short board, you've got the commuter, you've got the entry level board, off-road build, you've got, I can't imagine what else could be there besides, have to say it, like a race board or something. It's literally every single thing is covered from Propel. So what would be the next thing that Propel be looking at going forward or aiming to look at?
We do have a new board in the works that fits in our line for a hole that hasn't been covered yet, but it's not a race board, just to let you know. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's not going to be like our other boards. It'll be different. That's, product wise, things like that. We also plan to carry a lot more accessories. We plan to add, we started with the skateboard stand. We're going to start adding things like that. That can be used by anybody in eSkate, not just necessarily the Propel customer. And a couple other things we want to do. We want to do some, we like to stay involved as we can with the social media and keep our customers involved with the company. So we're going to start running specials on the social media. Probably do one a week where we offer a discount on a certain parts or, consumable parts, so people can save a little bit of money if they order it that one week, things like that, just to keep people engaged in the pages and in the groups. And just to make sure our customers know that we do appreciate them and we want to offer them value whenever we can.
I feel like this is the most overly engineered stand I've ever seen, but it's really nice. I've got to say, I love it. I think it's such a cool product.
And I can speak from experience that it fits in between the refrigerator and the counter, which we want to store it.
Amazing. But the thing is as well, like I use a keyboard stand when I'm working on my board already. So, but having something that can hold your board solid for just tinkering, engineering, swapping wheels, swapping tires is extremely helpful. And one thing I want to say, you said about promotions and like accessories coming forward. I don't know if this is continuing the case, but I heard there was a mention of if you're a long-term customer for Propel and you're looking to buy additional boards, there could be discounts on multi-buying boards. Is that still a thing? I heard it at eSkate.
Yeah,
I just want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's something we've done since the beginning. When we had our first customer get their 5th board, we just realized that we have some great customer loyalty with this brand, and we want to reward that. So we started a VIP program. So any customers that own 5 boards or more, once you get that 5th board, you get 10% of everything we make, parts, boards, anything for life, which can be pretty significant because some of those guys now have 7 and 8 boards. And, when we first started discussing, it's like, well, how many people are there going to be, and it's like, well, exactly. So it's, it's something we can afford to do. But now we're like, wow, we have like, I don't know, maybe 15, 18 guys that are 5 board owners now, 5 years in, and many more that are close. So that was a good program. That's just called our VIP program. And yeah, that's something that's nice to see the guys be able to take advantage of that. It's nice to be able to repay their support, you know.
So would that be contacting Propel, or is that an email they would receive after they've received their 5th board going
After
forward?
they've ordered their 5th board, yeah, we let them know. But most of them know. Most of them know.
Yeah, you know,
somebody that owns 3 or 4 Propel boards, they're on the page pretty often, and they see the things that we're doing, so they know. But yeah, we email them just the same.
You know, we build the Propel is built in 2019, and after that is how to say pandemic. The
pandemic.
Pandemic grows, so all these supporters make us grow. So we are very appreciate all the supporters, especially the early supporters and all these people. They are have great loyalty. So we have talked a lot I have talked a lot about this with Russ. So we build the customer care program for all the customer. You can notice even now when we release a bus upgrade class, we always consider even the first generation Endeavor. I'm so glad to see there is a people for riding Endeavor for 5 years already. He posted in our group today, and I'm so glad about that. In Endeavor 2, Endeavor 3, we have supplied different upgrade keys for all the customers for that loyalty. And when we launch the Sigma this year, we also supply special discount for our old customer. I just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you for your support. And we also want to grow more. And I think this is I think we will supply more customer care, and you won't regret to join Propel family.
Thomas,
amazing.
One other thing I wanted to mention that kind of ties in with the VIP program is another thing that we do for our riders is we have a few riders that have hit 10,000 miles on their boards. And when they do, we send them an entire rebuild kit. So we send all the new bushings, new springs, new everything you need to make that board feel like it was new again. And those guys love that. They usually don't know that's coming. We ask them to post on it. You know, when they hit 10,000 miles, put up a post. And as soon as they put up a post, we get that kit right out to them.
Does it just tick over at that point? Is that the maximum? Incredible. That's amazing. Just the and I think, like I say, I think building the community around your products, I think is really, really interesting. I know that some companies have made like app support and almost make like a leaderboard. I think that would be a really great way of kind of developing that kind of rivalry and a little bit of competition between the riders.
That's a good idea.
And then going forward to having like a leaderboard competition where you go out, who's done the most miles this week, this month, and then developing that community and engaging more and more people to adventure and be out there.
Doesn't One Wheel do that?
One Wheel has done that. One Wheel's done that before.
Yeah, I've heard of that before. I like that idea.
But it's a good way of getting the community involved with like competition amongst themselves and sharing that journey. So, yeah, it's great. It's great fun. So going forward with the ranges of different boards, we haven't spoken about the Endeavor too much as well. And the Endeavor kind of sits like a hybrid of a little bit of everything, a little bit of AT, a little bit of off-road, but also a commuter as well. So kind of what would you say is like the placement for the Endeavor for the community? Who would that specifically be for?
We consider it to be our AT board, as far as when you're looking at our lineup. But if you ask anybody that's owned one, it's their forever board. I mean, it's my forever board. Out of all the boards we've built, I still go back to my Endeavors. I just love it. I'm older. I like the suspension. I mean, it's just the board I've always fallen in love with, and so many people have that same relationship with that board. It really is our bread and butter of the line, because it fits so many people and does so many things.
Definitely, and I feel like they have the kind of independent like truck system of them moving, but in a more compact scale. I think is
Right.
an interesting way.
Yeah, before Endeavor, you could only get independent suspension in an off-road board. It was either a Baja or an Endeavor, and that was it. And now the whole point with our urban independent suspension was to bring that technology and comfort down to a smaller scale board that people can manage a little easier than an X4R and an X4S. And I think we really hit a sweet spot with it.
I just want to throw in a couple of questions from the audience. If anyone else has any more additional questions, then please throw them in here. But any plans for I think an off-road build with bindings and jumping? Especially, I know in the UK community we love a binding board and then jumping with that thing. I think there's a rich history with obviously AT bindings options with boards going forward.
Yes. I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I guess the customers pulled the cat out of the bag. Yeah, that's something we're looking at building now. Something that will come with bindings. It's designed to be a jump board / full off-road board, but without the suspension, where the flex is in the deck instead of an independent suspension. But again, when we come up with something like this, we really take our time with it. Boards usually take at least a year for us to develop. It gets quicker now that we're doing more and more of the work in-house. That process does go a little quicker, but whenever we come out with something that's new, it's also new to us. So we want to make sure it's right, or as right as we can get it anyway, before we get it out to the customers and start getting their feedback.
I suppose that's where, like I say, working with the community and having a loyal fan base is a resource that you guys can use to get what would you want in, like say, if you want bindings on a board, how would that board be? I think for me, my experience with an off-road build, weight is number one. Bindings that are comfortable, and for me, the option of having a board that can do full reverse and full acceleration, because it unlocks 180 full 180 riding. And I think just for me being greedy, a board that can adapt with different batteries on the fly, that would be incredible. But that's just me being greedy.
I agree. I just want to touch, you brought up the bindings. I just want a couple things about the Propel bindings that you don't necessarily recognize if we just go look at it on the website. But one thing about our bindings is you don't have to drill holes in your board. And that's a big deal, especially when you're talking about a carbon graphite board or a carbon fiber board. You don't have to drill holes. We use a mounting system where the binding actually mounts to a plate, and then the plate uses the existing deck screws to mount to the board. So there's no drilling involved. Also, this allows us to put that binding on a hinge. So our binding rocks forward and back, the incept strap itself. If you look at the incept strap, we took from MBS the idea, because everybody loves how comfortable the MBS binding is. So we wanted that same style as far as the instep strap goes. We took it one step further. That step rotates forward or back depending on how you're using the board at the moment. It moves with you as you move. So it's kind of a little more ergonomic than just the average binding. But those are two big things about the P1 binding system that we think makes that binding system stand out above others.
And this is heels and toes, is that correct?
No heel strap.
No heel strap.
No heel strap. It's just the toe strap.
Okay. I'm a big advocate of full binding personally. The reason why I just think, do you know what it is for me? And I think some of the audience who have not necessarily tried full bindings before, if you have heels and toes, it just unlocks a whole other way of riding. And just speaking with you guys about the ambition with Propel, there's not one board that does everything. Right. So having a board that has heels and toes gives you a whole new way of interacting with the world. I think is a really interesting way. I think I definitely, guys, if you're watching, give full bindings a try, because it might unlock a whole new way of you interacting your board.
Coming from a ski and snowboard background, I fully agree with you 100%. The problem is, as a skateboard manufacturer, we have to build products that cater to the masses. And a lot of guys are afraid of bindings just in general.
Yeah.
Never mind ones that lock
definitely.
your heel down, because again, it is a whole different level of commitment once you lock that heel in. So we're looking for something that is just a little more user-friendly for the general masses. When we're building a product. So that's the main reason why we don't have a heel strap is, it intimidates a lot of guys. And the people that do use them are fewer than the people that just want the toe binding. So again, just building for the masses. But I fully agree with you. I mean, I'd like to have my heels locked down in certain places, where I can land on grass, things like that. Otherwise, I've gone down a few times at decent speed on, and I've been riding my boards, and I've always come out of my bindings because I don't wear them that tight. Even at the same time, my foot can move around a bit. I can adjust my foot side to side, up and down. So the binding is kind of there when I need it. That's how I use mine, but everybody uses them differently. And I think if I were going full off-road, like in the woods, I would probably want a heel strap too. But as for a product that we designed for the masses, we have just the toe strap.
I think that's really interesting, and I think it needs to be spoken about because, as you guys know, over the years, customers will say, "I want this." But realistically, how many people is that for? And is it worth investigating that time with a product? One board we haven't spoken about as of yet is, which I can't believe the price point of it because it's insane, is the Pivot GT. Like $1,000 for a 12S4P, a board that can go 36 miles an hour, and obviously with street wheels got to 52 miles. That is an insane value for what you get for that board. I think it's crazy.
Pivot sits right in the middle where it competes with a lot of other boards. So our goal was to just make it stand out in every way. What you get for your money, bang for the buck. The stylish looks that we offer it in a matte black or a piano gloss finish. And we just wanted it to be a real competitor in that bulk board sales, the Hurricanes and that class there. The 2-in-1 class.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just surprised. I almost feel like the Ruckus is like a pro GT in a way, from riding both, just because of some of the finishes between the two. But was the goal to have a board, was like the $1,000 mark the goal of what we were trying to sell that board at?
When we originally came out with Pivot, no. But once we followed it up with Ruckus, now we can offer the Pivot at a different price discount, so we can hit different price tiers of people who are looking for the 2-in-1 style street, little bit of AT, that style board, which is probably the most popular boards out there as far as numbers go, sales. Unlike the X4Rs, those don't sell as many as obviously a Pivot. So for the bulk board, we wanted to have two boards in that class, two different models, and now we have Pivot and Ruckus, which each offer their own family of different models within the model class.
Pivot and the Sigma, they both are cost effective. The super value, the price is very low.
Competitive.
Yeah,
it's on performance. Why we set the price like this? Because I think the eSkate community need more new people joining us. I want to bring down the barrel to entry the eSkate community. I want more people join us, and most kind of the most common board is mini board and the traditional street board. Pivot and Sigma is that kind of board. So I set the price low to make it more easy for the people. The people first time know electric skateboard, and why they are powerful, because I don't help people step in and found, it's so weak, and step out. That's not what I want. So I make it more powerful, more surprising, and the more acceptable price for the people.
Yeah, the entry level.
I think the entry
level skater usually sees that $1,000 mark as they don't want to spend over $1,000 on that first eSkate. It seems to be the ceiling on that for the entry level. So we really want to be able to get the entry level person, like the skaters who are out there who know the boards and have been following the boards for a year or two. They know what it is and they see the numbers and they know how to translate that and they see that huge value. Whereas the entry level doesn't have to necessarily see that, but he can be as attracted to it because of the price.
I think like when I got into eSkate 5-6 years ago, if that was my first board, I would be really chuffed about that. It's just it's such good value for what it is. Right, so we're almost, believe it or not, gentlemen, we are almost out of time. So what I want to do, guys, if there's anything that you want to highlight or talk about, please bring it in now. And guys who are watching, you've got any comments, please throw them in now, because I would love to see if you have any questions that we haven't covered as of yet. So is there anything else that you guys want to announce or talk about or highlight? Any other the many interventions that you guys have made? Is there anything you particularly want to highlight now?
Okay, I want to say the Propel EV, we build Propel EV to supply more smile. I enjoy a lot of this picture, this smile from all the world. We build the board for people more exciting, more smile on the face. That's what we build. We build in the past 6 years. We have noticed that the people's preference is totally different. That's why we build different board for different people. And we are always open for all people. If you want anything, you can talk to me. We can discuss, as long as it create a happiness. That's our problem.
Yeah, I just want to point out that board behind Javin, I don't know if he explained it, but those are all customers. Those are all customers' pictures. Yeah, smiling and saying thank you, and pictures that are sent to us from customers, and he keeps that right above his desk. And that's what he's saying is that's what he wants. More pictures.
Smiles for miles. Maybe we need to create like maybe a weekly update for Propel's smiles for the week or so. That'd be amazing. Just a bit
That's
of
another good
engagement
idea too. One thing I want to just put out there before we run out of time is that, we've looked at, when we first came into the game, we looked at the long game. Especially with the things that are going on economically now, we seem to have positioned ourselves pretty well. But we are also looking to expand more in the future. We're putting together a program now for retailers. We want to have demo locations, and we want to bring some retailers on board if they're willing. And we have some very, very aggressive programs where they don't even have to buy stock. So if anybody knows their favorite eSkate store and you think they are a place that should be carrying Propel or an electric bike shop, get into my inbox, let me know. I'll make contact with them. This goes for anywhere, okay? Any country, anywhere. We want to talk to you if you want to partner up with us. That's something we're looking forward to doing. So we've already started that with a few shops here in Florida, and it's been working out great. So we'd like to partner with more people and help some of these stores make some money through these tough times and help us grow together.
I think that's one thing I've kind of taken from this interview. And I think every time I do this, I come away with a little more insight about a company's journey and the vision. And I think from today, it's a bit like that rich automotive influence on making something high quality from the experience in the motor car industry, and now working about developing a culture around Propel. And I think, as we all know, with like the early boosted days, creating a community around a product is how we create more smiles. We bring those cultures together and have a successful product. So it's really great that you guys are tailoring each board for different customers, so everyone has a chance to take part in that community.
And as far as that, as another community thing we have is also that Propel Virtual Garage. So as we build more and more boards, we add more and more videos to our library online. So riders don't necessarily have to wait for customer service to get back to them to find out how to fix a problem. We have a video for that. And if we don't have a video for whatever the problem is, we'll make it.
Exactly. And I think it's great that you don't censor your social media that some groups have, and it gives you opportunity to get that feedback to make products better. And like you say, if there's a problem with the board that if one of the products, a customer can post that, and then the community takes that job away from you guys, and that builds those relationships with each other, and having those people be like, oh, this is what I did to improve this board, or this is what I did. So I think allowing the community to develop that kind of synergy, all working together to help one another is fantastic. So it's really great that you guys are all about getting those communities evolving, for sure.
It's not just that too. When you have that person that comes on your page and they are mad, I mean really angry, having the opportunity to turn that person around with good customer service says more about your brand than anything you can do. So we encourage those people because, first of all, we want to change your day. We don't want you to be mad because of our product, and we will do everything we can to change that. But second of all, we want the opportunity to show you we care. We know you just spent, $1,000, $2,000 with us, and we appreciate that, and we will support you as best we can. But yeah, we take those negative experiences, we turn them around into positive experiences. We think it's just a good, ideal of what our brand stands for.
I just want to share, I think I want to close on this, which I just came across on your Facebook group. And I think this is really exciting to see, actually, is having the next generation and everyone going out together because of your products, I think is a really, really important thing. So having the opportunity, but this is one of the posts on the group, having everyone being able to go out together, I think is really, really important.
I love seeing kids ride, but I swear my favorite posts are when I see a husband and a wife who are out on a ride after dinner. They're off the couch.
Amazing.
They're doing something together. They're off the couch. They're getting fresh air and exercise. I love those posts.
That's the thing, right? It's about creating those communities and using these tools to unlock a new way of interacting with the world. And I know for me personally, that's what's helped me the most about having these crazy electric skateboards. All a bit of fun to get ourselves started, but how we use it every single day to interact with our world is absolutely amazing. Cool. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I want to say thank you so much for both of you joining today's stream. It was a really good insight to see the attitude of Propel, and I can see the focus is about making high quality products and creating a culture around the brand. So it's really great to see it. So thank you so much for joining the stream today.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for giving us the time to talk about our products.
I know, it's absolutely amazing, guys. Okay, guys. So that wraps up our interview with Propel. It was a great opportunity to get the guys on board. Like I say, they said it for themselves. If you have any questions, throw them into the Facebook groups, and there will always be someone to answer those questions for you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining the stream today. I'll see you guys real soon.
Have a good day.